Hello again. Have we all calmed down from the last video yet? Have you all taken a deep breath? And thought about what just happened? A lot of people accuse me of making that video just to get people riled up, just to be a troll. And my reaction to that is, yeah, kinda. You see, that video wasn't about getting people angry, and it wasn't about getting people up in arms and to shout and scream at each other and all that sort of stuff, but it was designed to provoke reactions for a very good reason, and that was to prove a point that I'm going to talk about in this video. The thing that really gets me about this is the very predictable way in which certain sides of this debate chose to voice their opinion. Now, if you go back to that video and have a look at the comments section, you'll see the people who agreed with me, predictably enough, did so with very respect, saying, "Oh, thanks for saying that," or things like, "You said what I was thinking," and all those kind of things. Of course, they're going to say stuff like that if I'm saying what they're thinking. Then there was the folks who disagreed with the little section at the beginning where I was talking about hunting for sustenance isn't relevant in today's world. And of course, I was dead wrong. And I know I was wrong when I was saying it, because there are people out there who do hunt for sustenance. I got a lot of messages and private messages from people in the US telling me the stories of their families and how they still hunt for sustenance, they hunt deer, and So why did I say it? I said it because you barely ever hear the voices of these people. Every gun debate that comes up, you get the people who say, "I need guns for hunting." And you never hear them talk about why they hunt. And as I said, there are people who hunt for sport. And, I don't see the sport in hunting with a rifle. But the people who hunt for sustenance, don't have a problem with those guys, and I don't include them in my statement about people who hunt with guns are all pussies. The other predictable reaction is from the people who just saw my video as an attack on their rights, their God-given rights to carry firearms. And they, having no other reasonable argument besides, "I want to own a gun," chose to react violently. And the comment section is full of knee-jerk reactions from these maniacs who just get unnaturally angry at anyone who suggests that they think, personally, the gun law may need reform. I mean, these people threatened my safety and my life. I actually got death threats for expressing my personal opinion on gun laws and gun ownership in general. But these folks who get, so very, very angry, so very, very quickly and so very, very easily, are exactly the type of people who shouldn't have guns. It's not, we're not talking rocket science here. If you have a person with a short fuse and a violent temper, who swings into action of threats of violence, not to protect themselves physically, but to protect themselves from someone else's idea, someone else's opinion, someone else's thoughts being expressed in a friggin' YouTube video. Each and every one of you out there who wrote into my last comment section and called me names and threatened my life and made vague threats about how you would smash my head in with a rock, or you need guns to protect yourself from people like me. You shouldn't have guns. You're obviously not stable enough to make rational decisions. And it's amazing to me how many people took me seriously when I suggested that people should hunt with rocks and sticks. Of course you shouldn't hunt with rocks and sticks. That was a joke. You didn't take me seriously when I suggested you hunt with a left shoe. So why would you think I was serious about hunting with a rock? You go back to those comment section, you have a look at how many people took me seriously. Oh, you're hunting with a rock, it's savage, and the animal will take ages to die after you bash your head in with a rock. A gun is a quick and painless death. Duh. Thanks, Sherlock. Couldn't figure that one out on my own. But yeah, the main point of that last video was to show you how those three distinct camps tend to react, and then the psychology behind their reactions to opinions, to thoughts, to ideas. People who think that guns should have more control tend to be very reasonable people who express their opinions in a generally well thought out way, with ideas that make sense and aren't horribly broken logic. The people who agree for gun ownership for sensible reasons, like hunting for sustenance and feeding their families because they happen to be poor, or they don't have easy access to things like that, or they just think it's more economical to hunt for their own food, because it bloody well is. That's legitimate as well. And those people reacted reasonably and sensibly and with well thought out expressions of their opinions. And then you get the gun nuts. And I hate that term, but that's what they are. And they don't have a focus, they just, we want guns. You can take my gun from my cold dead hands. Those people reacted angrily and violently with threats and name calling and just all manner of childish and irrational reactions. That's exactly the type of person who shouldn't be allowed anywhere near a gun. People who fly into a rage because of an idea someone expressed. They shouldn't have guns. And a few of those people tried to imply that my ideals were Nazi-esque because the Nazis didn't let their population, didn't let the average person have guns so they'd be easier to control. And it's these people who want to take away my right to free speech, my right to say whatever the hell I want, my right to express my ideas and not be threatened with violence, not have threats against my personal safety made because I expressed an idea. Yeah. One of us complies to what the Nazis did. One of us does not. Make your own judgment on that one, people. My gun's bigger than your gun. Catch you next time.